My goal of this league was to make as much currency during the first week of the league so that later on I don't have to focus as much on making currency and I can just use this currency to make as many interesting builds as possible. So a few days ago I did achieve my goal. I made more than 2000 divines, which is more than enough for me, and the main way I was making currency was through crafting wands. Because I made enough currency, I haven't been focusing on crafting anymore for the past few days, so I decided to make a video sharing with you how I was crafting them. And in case you are wondering what I did with my currency so far, here you can see that I still have liquid 100 divines. I also did buy one mirror, which right now goes for around 700 divines, so that's already 800. I also still have a lot of crafting currency, so like perfect exalted orbs, omens of light, homogenizing, and so on, so that's quite a lot of currency. In my gear, I believe I have like 200, maybe 300 divines. But then I also decided to invest the rest of my currency. And I think Mirror is not like the craziest investment to go for. So what I did, I actually did invest into Temporalis because I think Temporalis is actually going to up in price. So right now the Temporalis goes for around 57 divines and Last Flame goes for around 41. And just to show you, here is the Last Flame, and this is the relic that gives you the Temporalis. So this is 41 divines and Temporalis non-corrupted one is 57 divines. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them. So 9 times 57, that is 513. And I do have 11 of Last Flame, which is 11 times 41 plus 513. So I have around 1000 divines in Temporalis. Hopefully they are gonna go up. If not, I mean, I'm still gonna just sell them. So it is a pretty safe investment. I also have an Adorn with 100%. I did buy it for 250 divines. Right now the cheapest one is like 320. So hopefully it is also gonna go up. But this one is a little bit more of a gamble because not that many builds use Adorn right now, but also not that many people farm Trial of Chaos. So it is pretty rare item. So I guess we'll see. So yeah, I have like more than 1000 divines here, and I also have around 1000 divines in my currency and probably like 300 divines in my items. So what I did at the league start is I started with buying ones with +4 to chaos skill gems, and I was just Exile slamming them, and after that I was just reselling them for more money. And this way I made my first few divines, and then I started crafting amulets. So when I was crafting amulets, I realized that you can quite easily get +3 to all spell skills. So the way I did it is I was buying amulets with tier 1 spirit and any tier of cast speed. Then I was using homogenizing regals, and this would guarantee to hit either spell damage +2 spells, and that's pretty much it. Yes, these are the only two tags. But +3 is kind of rare, so most of the time you just get increased spell damage, which unfortunately also has damage tag. But there are only two modifiers that you can get at this point, which is crit damage and +2 free spells, because this one has caster tag, this one has damage tag. So I would just use double homogenizing exalt and I would just get guaranteed these two mods. So what I would end up with is spirit, spell damage, +3 to spells, crit chance, and cast speed. Actually, no, not crit chance, crit damage and cast speed. And then I would just use a desecrated abyssal currency to just get the one last remaining mod, either rarity, energy shield, life, or whatever. And to be honest, these amulets were not selling that crazy. Also, at this point, people didn't really have that much currency yet. So I did make still decent money doing it, probably like maybe 20, 30, 50 divines. I don't remember exactly, but I did make enough to start investing into +5 ones. And the ones I started with were the Chaos ones, because these ones were most popular. A lot of people were playing and still are playing SSRA Contagion, so that's what I was crafting. So first, let me show you how I was crafting these ones, because I was crafting more than that. So the way you want to do it is first you want to buy the clean magic ones with +5 to chaos, or with one other random mod. These ones are going to be a bit more expensive to craft. I would add 3 additional divines to the craft if you are buying with the second mod. And when I was buying these ones, usually these would go for like 3 to 4 divines and these for like 7 divines. So it was pretty much the same amount of money to start this or this way, but this one is easier, so I was most of the time buying just clean ones. But now it's definitely worth going for the clean ones because these go for like 3 divines and these go for like 2, so it's only one divine difference, but you still have to pay like 3 divines more to clean this. So I would definitely go for just these ones. And the way you want to clean it is first of all, on all of them, you want to use Greater Essence of Alacrity, which guarantees cast speed. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. And on this base, we also need to clean the prefix. And to do that, we're gonna use Omen of Sinistral Crystallization with Perfect Essence of Alacrity, which is gonna add increased mana cost efficiency. So let's do that now. And now we do have 3 suffixes. And the next step is to use the Omen of Homogenizing Exaltation with Perfect Exalt and also the Sinister Exaltation to add 2 prefixes. Because now, when we look at the modifiers, we do have +5 to Chaos spell skills, which has Chaos, Caster, and Gem Tag, which there are no other modifiers with Gem Tag, so we can only add Chaos and Caster. And we also have Cast Speed, which is also Caster Tag, so we can only add Chaos and Caster modifiers. If we guarantee the prefix with Omen of Sinister Exaltation, we can only hit the spell damage, hybrid spell damage, and also one of these. And because we have +5 to Chaos, we can only hit this one, which is increased Chaos damage because of the Chaos tag. So, and all of these 3 modifiers are something we actually want on this wand. But on the other wand, this one, we also have increased mana cost efficiency, which has the mana tag. Just to show you here, it is the essence one, and it's this one. It has mana tag, which means we also can add mana. So to do that, we actually have to block it. And to block it, we will go to the Well of Souls, and we're just gonna desecrate mana. It is like 90% of the time guaranteed to hit it, so I don't even use Omen of Abyssal Echoes, so let's just do it normally. I'm just gonna use Preserve Jawbone, and hopefully we're gonna get it on first try, and yeah, we got mana. If you want to be a little bit more safe, you can also use Omen of Abyssal Echo, but yeah, like I said, it's like 90% of the time it's going to hit it on the first try, and if it doesn't, you just use Omen of Light, and you remove it. Okay, so now since we have all of that, we're gonna use Homogenizing Exaltation, the guaranteed prefix, double exalt, and on this one, we don't have to guarantee prefix because it's already filled. This one, we have to because it has 1 suffix modifier. So on this one, I am gonna use this one, and I am gonna go for the perfect. You can of course go for the greater, but if you want the best outcome, potentially hit like some insane ones with like maybe double tier 1 modifiers, it's better to go for the perfect. So I'm gonna go for the perfect one here, and we did hit percentage spell damage and hybrid spell damage. And on the other ones, I'm gonna use the Sinister Exaltation, so only prefixes, and let's see what we hit. On this one, spell damage and chaos, this is the best outcome. Unfortunately, both are tier 3, but that's fine. Again, spell damage and chaos. This one we got 1 tier 2, and we actually got kinda lucky on all of them. We got chaos and spell damage. So on this one, we now have to use the Omen of Light, and we do have to remove the mana because we want to hit the percentage chaos damage. But to be honest, in this case, because we don't have chaos damage, from my experience, chaos damage is the hardest one to hit. Sometimes I would have to use 5 or even 10 Omen of Light to hit chaos damage, so I actually don't think it's worth it. Usually, one like this with like 120, 130% spell damage, you can just resell for pretty much the same amount that you invested into it. So I would just not risk it and just resell it as it is right now. On these ones, we did already hit spell damage and chaos damage, and the easiest one to hit is actually the percentage spell damage, because when we again look at the desecrated mods, there is a spell damage as an Amanamu mod. So if you want to hit this one, we would just use the Omen, we would use Preserve Jawbone and Omen of the Leech to guarantee Amanamu modifier, and most of the time you would hit it on the first try, but I would actually use Omen of Abyssal Echo for this one. But unfortunately I didn't hit any ones like this, so I cannot show you. But yeah, that's the easiest one to hit because of the Amanamu mod, but yeah, we didn't have any of these. So on this one we would have to hit chaos damage, which I don't think is worth, and on these ones we have to hit hybrid, which to be honest is also decently hard to hit, but not as hard as chaos damage. So let's try to go for it. So again, Omen of Abyssal Echo, press the Jawbone. Here we're not gonna use Omen of the Leech. 1, 2, 3, and let's see what we will get. So, oh, and I actually forgot about one crucial step. So I did not add the suffix, so we're gonna waste a little bit of extra currency, but it's fine. This is actually not even that bad mod, the hinder, but not that many people actually go for it. I am gonna have to basically waste additional omens of light to remove these modifiers because yeah, I did make a mistake. Usually that doesn't happen. I actually tried to sell some of these ones with hinder, but I don't think that many people go for them, so they actually don't sell that well. On this one, we actually did hit prefix, so here I'm gonna have to use Omen of the Light and annulment. So I'm gonna take it here, remove and remove. So, like I said, I forgot to use Greater Exalt Orb to add a suffix, because yeah, we do have one open prefix and one open suffix, so we want to guarantee that the Desecrate is gonna hit the prefix. So to do that, you just use the add only suffix, which is Dextral Exaltation, and tier 2. I am going for tier 2 because it's very cheap, and you might still hit something like int or percentage mana regen, so some people actually like them, so I'm going for tier 2. And here we did hit attribute, which is kind of whatever. Here we actually got int, which is pretty nice. And here we got mana regen, which is also pretty nice. And now I would go for the Preserve Jawbone. Now it guarantees the prefix, and let's go for it. So pretend that the previous step didn't happen. That was just my mistake. And I also forgot to use Omen of Abyssal Echo. Another mistake. It happens. Here I'm gonna hopefully get it, and we did not get hybrid. And on the third one, we actually still did not get a hybrid. So yeah, hybrid is also decently hard to hit. And right now, these Omen of Light, when I was crafting these ones like very early on, they were not that expensive, so I would just continue rerolling them on and on. But because now Omen of Light are actually kind of expensive, just to show you, they go for like almost 3 divines. I actually don't think, again, it's really worth going for hybrid. So you could sell these as it is right now, or you could try going for it. But yeah, each try is 3 divines, and it's gonna take you many tries. And usually you're gonna increase it by like maybe 10, 20%. Sometimes if you're lucky, you're gonna get a hybrid, which is 30 to 40%. So yeah, you can sell it as it is, or you can gamble for more. Very often you will just hit it on the first try and you're gonna get better ones. And of course, if you sometimes hit the better tier, like tier 1, tier 2 of spell and chaos damage, you're gonna make even more money. So now how do I price check these ones? So I did prepare a filter. So I'm going for one with +5 to chaos spell skills, at least 20% cast speed. This should actually be 25 because essence guarantee is 25. And then I'm using weighted sum of spell damage and chaos damage. And I'm typing in here what I did hit on these ones. So for example, on this one, like I said, this one is gonna be pretty cheap because it didn't hit chaos. It has at least 120%. So I would type here 120. And let's see how much we could sell this for. Takes a little while to load for some reason. Okay, so it finally loaded. So as you can see here, they go for around 6 divines. And we paid for the base 3 divines plus around 2.7 for the Perfect Exalt and also Omen of Homogenizing. I think it goes right now for, let me actually check, I don't remember. In divines, it's this one, around 1 divine. So we actually lost a little bit of money. it costs around 7 divines to make these, but like I said, these ones are not the ones that you're looking for. You are looking for hitting the chaos damage. So now let's look at the other one. So this one has 180% total. So here 180. And also, by the way, when I was crafting these ones and I was making money for the past week, these would go for like 12 divines. So even if you would fail and you would sell with 120, you would still actually make money on them. So it is a little bit less worth doing it. So these go for 10, maybe even 12 divines, depending on what we have as the other modifiers. So on this, you definitely make money because it costs the same money to make this one as it takes to make this one. So we would spend like 7 divines and you can sell it for, let's say, 12. So it's 5 divines per wand. Then let's have a look at the other ones. This one is 94% plus 82. So that one is also like 180. This one is 94 plus 85. Same thing. And this one 76 plus 80. 76 plus 80. It's a little bit worse. So maybe this one you would, instead of 12, maybe you would have to sell it for like 10 divines or something. But occasionally you will actually hit percentage spell damage here, or you will hit tier 1 chaos damage, tier 1 spell damage. And if you just craft enough of these ones, you will have things like 220% total, or maybe my best one was actually 260. So now just to show you how much money you would make if you get more lucky, just to show you here, 220. These would go for 22 divines, so you make like 15 divines per, and if you hit, let's say, 250%, then you make like 70 divines. So yeah, it's all about doing these crafts in bulk. So what I would do is I would just grab like 10 of these ones and I would just craft a lot of them. Maybe like 3 of them would be like this, where I would basically lose 1 div per. Maybe like 3 or 4 of them would be like these, where I would make like 5 to 10 divines per. And then occasionally like maybe like 1 or 2 would be something where I would sell them for like 20, 30 or more divines. So it's all about quantity. Now let's put these on the side and let's move on to the next one, which is going to be with cold spell skills and also lightning, because these ones actually craft the same way. And here I do have few of them with already second good modifier. So these I actually was buying with cold spell skills for like 1 divine. They are actually the cheapest ones. You can already get tier 1 lightning damage or cold damage, but I also got one that is clean just to show you the difference between crafting these. And I also did the same for lightning ones. So let's put this one aside here. So these with cold go for around 1 divine, and these with lightning actually go for around like 8, 9, sometimes 10, 12 divines. So these are very, very expensive. But from my experience, the ones that sell the best are the chaos ones. Then the second one is a lightning, but also chaos usually doesn't have that much profit margin between the investment and how much we sell them for, but lightning actually have the highest potential to sell for a lot. I actually was selling them for like 40, 50 divines per. And the cold actually are very cheap, but also you don't sell them that well. They're actually the worst when it comes to selling. So you can still make them, but yeah, they are gonna sell very, very slowly. So how do we craft these? Well, first, it doesn't matter if it has second mod or not. First thing you want to do is you want to use Essence with increased spell damage. Now, not cast speed. This one we go Essence of Sorcery to give them spell damage. So let's do that on each one of them. It's gonna be between like 70 and 80%. And now we have 2 prefixes, or 1 prefix here and 1 suffix. And what would we do want on these ones is actually suffixes, not like on the previous one where we wanted the prefixes. So just to show you, now we have spell damage, which has caster and damage, and we also have either cold or lightning, which also has elemental, caster, and cold, or in this case, lightning. So if we guarantee suffix, it is always going to hit either cast speed, crit chance, or crit damage, because these ones are the only ones that have caster tags and there's no damage tags here. There are some on prefixes, but if we guarantee suffix, there is none of them. And cast speed has much higher weighting than the crit chance and crit damage. So 90% of the time you're gonna hit cast speed and either crit chance and crit damage. Usually, crit chance is way better, so 50-50% of the time you're gonna hit a very good one, 50% of the time you're gonna hit worse one, but these sell also decently well. Actually, the one with +2 cold, if you hit crit damage, these ones are pretty useless, but if you hit it on lightning, they still actually sell decently well. So it's kind of like with the chaos. If we didn't hit the chaos like here, it's way worse. If we hit chaos, it's way better. So it's kind of like here with the crit. So let's go this time with Omen of Dexter Exaltation to guarantee hit suffix, and Perfect Exalted Orb, Homogenizing, and Double Exalt. Let's use it on all of them in case I run out of the stack. And let's make sure I didn't make any mistake this time, like last time. Everything looks pretty good. Perfect Exaltation, I have 9 of them, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so good enough. And let's go for it. And here I got crit damage on the cold, which is pretty useless. Next one, also crit damage. Next one, another crit damage, very unlucky. It is basically 50-50. And on last one, we also hit crit damage. So unfortunately, we got very unlucky here. All of these are pretty useless. But let's see the lightning ones. Here we got crit chance and also a tier 1, which is pretty nice. Here we also got, actually here we got crit damage, and crit chance. So pretty unlucky on the amount of crit chance. So let's put crit chance on the side here. So these are the ones with crit chance and these are the ones with crit damage. But we are still missing prefixes. So you have actually a few options. When it comes to prefixes, you can just use homogenizing with Exalt. I actually would recommend using greater, not perfect, because it's a lot of money. Or you can just desecrate. But desecrating, it's usually going to give you a lower tier. So it is up to you. But also, when you are desecrating, you can go for percentage elemental damage. And percentage elemental damage is very easy to hit because we can use Omen of the Lich, which is the Amanamu mod. But from my experience, for some reason, if you get percentage lightning damage on these ones, you actually can sell them for way more. I don't know why. People, I think, just don't understand that percentage elemental damage is the same as lightning, but just better. But if you hit like 80% lightning, you can sell these ones for like 50 divines. And if you hit percentage elemental, maybe like 20, 30, depending on the day. So it is kind of weird, but yeah, it's I guess that's the market right now. So yeah, for these, I would just use Desecrate, to be honest, because it's much easier to hit percentage elemental. And for these ones, the ones that don't have the extra mod that we started with, here I would actually just go for the Omen of Homogenizing and the... Actually, we don't need extra exaltation, but we need greater exaltation and the tier 2 perfect exalt. So it is this one that has one prefix only. Let's see what we will get. Actually, this one is already kind of bricked because it's with crit damage, so you don't even have to go for it. But I guess I'm gonna do it anyway. And here we actually hit, holy, we hit tier 1 hybrid and tier 3 cold. This, if this was crit chance, this one would be like 70 divines or something. It's kind of unlucky. But yeah, because it is crit damage, we pretty much can't make almost any money. We're probably gonna have to resell it for like 5 divines or something. Then let's see the other one, the lightning one. So this one has only one prefix, so we do the same thing. And here, oh, I did use tier 3 by accident. Well, another money wasted, but yeah, here let's use the tier 2. And this is the prefix one. And here we got hybrid, which is also pretty good, and as extra lightning. So both of these are actually kind of nice. And now on these ones, we're just gonna desecrate them. So Omen of Abyssal Echo, and we're gonna use Amanamu because we want percentage elemental damage and Preserve Jabon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this one we don't go for it because it's already filled. I actually also went on this one, which was already filled. Which one was it? I think it was this one. One of them. Well, I also did make a mistake where I removed one of the ones that already had a modifier. Oh, this one. Oh, wait. I did it by accident, but we actually got lucky. we did remove the crit damage. So now we can actually hit crit chance here. So maybe I actually didn't make a mistake. Well, sometimes lucky, I guess. 1 in 6. So now Abyssal Echoes. Here I'm not gonna do it because it already has a good mods. And let's actually, yeah, let's go just one by one. So here, this one, like I said, it's already kind of worthless because it's crit damage on a cold. So here we got increased elemental damage. You're gonna see we're gonna hit it like 90% of the time. I actually don't even know if it's worth using Abyssal Echoes on these because yeah, elemental damage is gonna appear almost always on all of them. Next one. And we got it again. Next one. Again. And this is the one. I'm gonna keep it as for last because that's the one that we want crit. Another elemental damage. Yeah, we're just wasting Abyssal Echoes. Another one. And now the ones with crit chance. So this one. Elemental damage. If I actually got lightning damage, I think I actually would choose lightning damage because, like I said, this is better than lightning damage, even if it's the same number. But for some reason, lightning damage is sell better. I don't know. People just don't know the modifiers, maybe. Okay, so here, let's hope to hit crit chance. And we got cost efficiency and hinder. Area, don't want any of these. And again, we don't want any of these. And here I actually am going to go for the annulment. So these ones, annulment. Let's put it on the side so I don't miss it. So it's this one. And now without Amanama. Let's go for it. Didn't get it. Didn't get it again. So that's minus pretty much 3 divines. Let's go again. And we got 44%. It's not the best roll, but it is good enough for now. I'm gonna think about it later if I want to reroll it or not. And now let's quickly price check them. So now when it comes to price checking these ones, what I'm doing is now I'm going for cold. Cast speed is still 25%. We have at least 70 spell damage. We don't care about this mod anymore. And now we have either crit damage or crit chance. So let's go for crit damage, at least 30%. And it has one of the as extra. Or the elemental damage. We also have to add that. Elemental damage, at least 70%. So yeah, this is the one with cold spell skills, spell damage, cast speed, crit damage, elemental damage, and one of these modifiers. So we are checking right now for this one, this one, this one. So these 3 ones. And I predict it's gonna be like 3 divines. Yes, so these go for 3 divines, and you can even see there is one of mine that is still being sold. But if we did crit chance, like I said, it's gonna be 50-50, which one we get. This one would be 13-20 divines. And you can sell it for even more if we hit like higher tiers. So what would happen if we hit like, let's say, crit chance like 65% or something. And this one, yeah, there's only mine that is posted for 25 divines. So yeah, you can make money this way. At least this one is very cheap because you pay like 1 divine. You actually can pay even less than 1 divine for just the base, then 3 divines or 4 divines for Omen of Homogenizing plus Perfect Exalt, and 1 Omen of Abyssal Echo, which you don't even have to use to get the elemental damage. And 50-50, you're gonna get the one that you just resell for 3 divines, and 50-50, you're gonna get the one that you can sell for like 20 plus divines. So in my opinion, it is well worth it. But yeah, cold ones are not selling that well. And now let's have a look at the same thing, but with the lightning. So these are the ones that are here. So crit damage, cast speed, elemental damage, 1 of EOS extra, and 70% spell damage. So it's the same thing here. Just double checking, everything is correct. And we are going for, well, this one is mine, the cheapest one, 10 divines. I've been just reducing it because it just doesn't want to sell. But this one does have tier 2. If we check for tier 1, which is what we bought them with, so it's 28%. either cold or I'm also buying with lightning because fire is usually the worst. So 28. Yeah, these go for like 15 to 20 divines. And I was buying these bases for like 9 divines. So, and this is with spell damage. So this is the worst ones. Now, what would happen if we hit crit chance? So we actually did get these ones. So this is the one with actually tier 1 crit chance, which is 60%. And this one is with tier 2 crit chance, but it also has a hybrid spell damage, which people actually usually like more hybrid than some percentage elemental. So let's see now with crit chance 50% and tier 1 of these. And it goes for 26 divines, 35. Let's see if tier 1, so 60%. Yeah, 35 divines, so quite a lot of money. And if we hit a hybrid, which is how much percent? Like 120. Let's check for 110%, but without increased elemental. And this one has less crit chance, so 50%. And this one goes for 35 divines. So yeah, quite a lot of money. And last one, I also want to check this, which is spell damage and cold damage, and it is hybrid spell damage. This one should actually be very expensive, and it is with crit chance, but unfortunately only 40%. So check for 40%. Cold damage, let's go 110. Cold damage is like 70, I think. And one of the as extra, right? No, it doesn't have as extra because it has a hybrid. So let's remove it. So +5, hybrid spell damage and regular spell damage, cast speed, crit chance, tier 4 unfortunately, and cold damage. And there is none of them posted on trade. Maybe let's reduce it to like 100. Still nothing. Maybe less cast speed, like 20. Maybe crit chance, like 30. Cold damage, 50. Yeah, you can probably post this one for as much as you want, 50, 70 divines. So when you are crafting these ones, a lot of them, you're gonna basically resell for the same money that you invested into them, but then occasionally you will get lucky with some of them and yeah, you will resell them for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 divines. And I can definitely tell you that prices were way better when I was doing this 1 week ago, but you can still make pretty good money even now. And now let's move on to the last one, which is the fire one. So this one is like a middle of the pack. They don't sell that well. They also don't sell that good. You can also go for dueling bases because dueling usually sell better, but you also have to pay more. I tried it, to be honest. I actually would probably stick with a regular basis. I was getting way less sales on the dueling ones. So the start of these crafts is the same as the previous one. So we go for the percentage spell damage. I only have 2 of these left here. Let's grab more. Where is the spell damage? Here is the one. So we need to use 4 of them. Just double check spell damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this one has already extra modifier. This one is without, so I'm doing the same as previous ones. So I just show you these 2 cases. And also, by the way, fire ones are like 1 divine, so they are very cheap, the same as cold. And we need again perfect exalts, but I ran out of them, so let's buy a few more. Divines, perfect exalt. Oh, they actually are going down to 2.2, so it's even better to craft this right now, I guess. And what we need is again use Omen of Greater Exaltation, so double exalt, homogenizing to guarantee the caster modifiers, and we go for suffix. So the start on these ones is the same as the lightning and cold because we are going for crit. Let's hope this time. Actually, for these ones, usually blood mages play with these, so these usually don't care as much about crit chance, so even crit damage is still pretty good. But let's see what we will get. Just double check, double exalt, suffix, and homogenizing, perfect exalt, yes. Boom, we got crit chance. Here, crit damage, and crit chance. So this time we actually got proper 50-50, 2 crit chance, 2 crit damage. And now the one difference between the cold and where do I have them? Cold and lightning versus fire ones is that people don't want elemental damage here. And actually on the lightning, people also might actually, and the cold, sometimes prefer to have either cold or hybrid or as extra because people play them on blood mages and blood mages don't care about elemental damage. So that's also partially the reason why these ones that we are checking with percentage elemental damage were cheaper. So if you actually, when you are desecrating and you see some kind of good hybrid, like 40% or something, or high tier of as extra or whatever, you actually should price check it before choosing because yeah, percentage elemental damage might actually not be the most expensive modifier. And for fire, we definitely don't want percentage elemental damage. So we can go here for the exalt because when you check the modifiers, the percentage fire is actually not that likely to hit. With the perfect exalt, there is only two tiers which have 100 weight and 200 weight. But if you look at any of the as extra, they have 500 each, and there is two of them, and there is three different as extra, and there is also hybrid, which is we can hit two of them. So it's very unlikely to hit percentage fire. So you could just go for homogenizing and perfect exalt. But in my opinion, it is probably still not worth it. You can just go for the desecrate here. But on this one, we actually are missing two modifiers. So here I would actually go for it. But if you want to save a little bit more money, you can also just go for the tier 2. So in this case, let's just go for tier 2. And it is this one that has one prefix. Here we don't care about adding a suffix. And hopefully we're not going to see percentage spell damage, which I would say 90% of the time is not going to happen. And we actually did get fire damage, so unlucky this time. This one is probably not gonna sell for that much. And I actually think this is the first time when I was crafting fire ones I actually got this, so unlucky that it happened on a video. And here we are just desecrating, so we don't want Amanama because we don't want elemental. So 1, 2, 3. Go back to Well of Souls. And here we are hoping for the best mod is hybrid, spell damage. Then second one is something as extra, and then third mod would be, well, that's pretty much all things we want. And we did get 26 Axe extra fire, not the highest tier, but I think that's good enough to actually keep. Then next one, we got hybrid. It's only 20%, but I think I still would keep it. And then next one, we got fire, we got low tier as extra fire, so I'm gonna reroll here. And we didn't get anything, so we're gonna use Omen of Light and annul it. Press our job on again. And we got physical as extra cold. I think I would just choose as extra cold here, which is tier 2. Okay, so now let's again price check them. So let's separate the crit chance. Here we have 2 with crit chance, 2 with crit damage. Now, where's my filter? Here we have fire damage this time, spell damage we have at least 70. Let's check first the crit damage ones. And let's see what we have here. We have one of the as extra, actually double as extra, and here we have like 90% spell damage. And you can also check tiers of crit damage and cast speed because sometimes you actually can make even more money if you hit like double tier 1 or maybe tier 1, tier 2. But here we have like 1 tier 1 and tier 3 and double tier 2, which usually doesn't give you that much more money. So let's see with 2 as extra. Let's go back to like 25. I think maybe even less. Let's go to like 20. And yeah, so that was one of them. This one looks like pretty cheap, 7 divines, 14 divines. So, but again, the base here is just 1 divine. So we probably actually still even maybe made a little bit of money. And then the second one is with one of them and spell damage 90%. Let's see. This one is 10 divines, so still a little bit of money made. And the next one is with crit chance. One of them did hit spell damage, unfortunately, and the other one has double as extra. So let's check first the one with double as extra. 70% here. And crit chance is at least 50. 10 divines. And unfortunately, the last one with fire damage, 70. Actually, this one is still pretty good money for some reason. So yeah, that's basically how you craft them. Unfortunately, the fire ones, we actually got the most unlucky out of all of them because we did hit fire, we didn't hit any tier 1 on the suffixes, well, double tier 1, and we also did hit only one hybrid, and it is a low hybrid. Usually you make the most money if you get spell damage as extra fire and then like very high tier of hybrid, so you actually reach like 110% of the spell damage. And just to show you, if you have, let's say, crit damage, one as extra, and let's say 110% spell damage without fire, yeah, you can see this one's 45, this one is 20, but it is corrupted. So yeah, these ones are the hybrid ones are usually the best ones. And if it's crit chance, yeah, chance is usually a little bit cheaper. But also, of course, it can be higher tier. But yeah, basically that's what I was doing. And now I would just go to the trader and I would just post all of them. And when I was making these ones, I was basically doing it like a factory. I would just do a lot of them. I would just go here and I would have 12 ones with chaos skills. Here I would have like 12 ones with fire, here with cold, here with lightning, and I would just wake up in the morning. I would just quickly go through all of them, just craft in like half an hour. I would craft 40 ones, and then for the rest of the day I would just play the game, run for maps and so on, and I would just wait for these to sell. And while they would be selling, then at the end of the day I would basically reduce the prices of the ones that didn't sell, and the other slots, the ones that did sell, I would craft the new ones. And then I would wake up, usually check the earnings, and I would see like 400 divines or something, and then I would craft the new ones, and so on and so on. So yeah, that's basically how I made 2000 divines. Hopefully you can still make money doing it this way. I actually already saw a lot of people posting guides how to craft these, but I still saw some things that people were not doing that actually I was doing while crafting these. So I figured it's gonna be a useful guide, and hopefully you can also make good money. Maybe after making this video, prices of V1s are gonna go down, but usually it takes like a few days for things to adjust and you can start making them again. So that's gonna be it for this video. Thanks for watching and see you next time.